In today's video, we'll look into the 10 biggest reasons Muslim women wear hijab. The hijab or head covering can be worn by many women, including Muslim, Christian, Hindu, or Jewish women, for example. But wearing the hijab or head covering is done for many reasons that you may not be aware of. Welcome back to FTD Facts. I'm Sarah Carvalho, and today we'll be looking into the 10 biggest reasons Muslim women wear hijab. Starting off at number 10, a sign of respect. Not all women choose to wear the hijab. Some women wear alternative versions known as head coverings, head scarves, or head wraps. In many instances, women don't cover their heads consistently for religious purposes, but instead as a sign of respect or obligation. For example, as a sign of respect, many women choose to or are asked to wear a head covering when entering certain places of worship. I personally have worn a head covering on multiple occasions when visiting a variety of places of worship in my travels to various countries. Even my late grandmother would wear a headscarf as a sign of respect whenever she went to church service. In other cases, when traveling to a country where it is the law for women to cover, a visiting woman would certainly cover as a sign of respect to the local culture, but also due to the obligation of the local laws. Up next, we have asserting an identity. Wearing the hijab or head covering is also a tool used by many women in asserting identity. French and British colonizers encouraged Muslim women to remove the veil and emulate European women. Consequently, in North African and Middle Eastern countries, the veil became a symbol of a national identity and opposition to the West during independence and nationalist movements. Today, some women wear the hijab to signal pride in their ethnic identity in history, and to send the message that they will not be changed to simply blend in with the masses. This is particularly important for hijabis living in countries where there has been an increase in prejudice, religious and cultural intolerance, and Islamophobia. Up at number 8, we have comfort. Some women just feel more comfortable wearing a hijab or head covering. For many, once they get used to applying the hijab every day or the head covering, it becomes like second nature and actually feels weird not to wear it. Being that the act of head covering is often associated with modesty and feelings of safety in a public setting, it also makes sense that wearing the hijab or head covering would add to a woman feeling more comfortable, especially around men she is not related to. And some people would be surprised, but wearing the hijab is actually connected to confidence. For many women, wearing the hijab or head covering gives a boost of confidence. Just like some women feel their best when they're wearing their favorite shade of lipstick, some women also feel a sense of confidence in wearing the perfectly paired hijab or headscarf with their outfit. Women take great care in how they wear and style their head coverings. Many women adding jewels or decorative pins, or even braiding or pleating techniques in the fabric of their head coverings. Indeed, a head covering or hijab can also be used as a fashion statement to complement an outfit, thus increasing pride and confidence in how a woman presents herself to others. It can also be used as an external declaration of faith. For some women, wearing the hijab or head covering gives them a sense of pride in wearing a visible declaration of their faith. Women can proudly wear their head coverings knowing that they are representing their religion or their culture, as well as setting a good example for others who share their same faith or culture. It can also be used to indicate that one's faith is an integral part of their identity within a community or group of people with common beliefs, values, and spiritual practices. Up at number 5, the halfway point today, we have the matter of convenience. For some women, the hijab or head covering is also a tool of convenience. For many women, the stress of having to style their hair and makeup every day is not realistic or manageable depending on their day-to-day obligations. Imagine having to run to the store after a long day of cleaning, cooking, and caring for children. Rather than having to style one's hair just to look presentable in public, a woman can easily throw on her head covering and go about her business. For religious women, it can also be seen as a convenience because Muslim women, for example, must wear a hijab when praying. Since Muslims pray frequently throughout the day, it is much more simple for women during prayer time if they are already wearing their hijab in their daily life. Up next, we have the feeling of protection or being protected. The hijab or head covering is universally recognized as a symbol that the wearer is likely a woman of faith and modesty, meaning that men can expect that a woman who covers will also hold herself highly accountable to her faith and commandments. It is a very clear sign to men that the wearer is not interested in being chatted up, harassed, or approached with advances. Of course, it is also understood that a woman's behavior must send the same message to back up the statement of wearing the hijab. And at number 3, we have the statement of feminism and female empowerment. In a world where a woman's beauty is often sold as a commodity used to sell everything from burgers to cars, choosing to cover oneself can surprisingly be seen as an act of rebellion. Many women choose to wear the hijab or head covering as an act of empowerment and taking back control of who they choose to share their beauty with. It also forces people to recognize them for their knowledge, skills, and abilities rather than their beauty, making a woman's character the quality of focus rather than their perceived sexual attractiveness. And of course, we have the reason of modesty. In many cases, women wear the hijab or cover their heads to shield the beauty of their hair, which in turn helps reduce the temptation and advances of others. A woman's hair can also be seen as her crown, something to be protected. By the way, wearing a hijab or hair covering is only one way of practicing modesty. Other efforts include wearing modest clothing that does not showcase the shape of the body, as well as covering the arms, legs, and chest area. Dressing modestly for many women is also a reminder in acting modestly to create a barrier between women and the opposite sex. For many women, choosing to cover their hair and bodies is a way of fighting against their own ego of the self in wanting to be appreciated or admired for their beauty. Instead of focusing on how they can be viewed as more attractive by others, women can value themselves for the beauty they contribute through who they are as a person and not how they look as a woman. And then up at number 1, the most important reason to be closer to God. For many religious women, wearing a hijab is not merely seen as a piece of cloth or head covering. It is also a command from God. So in the purest form, wearing the hijab or head covering is simply obeying God's command. Some women have described wearing the hijab as giving them a spiritual high that makes the wearer feel closer to God. Just like some may feel closer to God by wearing the symbol of the cross, the hijab also connects women with God as a physical reminder of upholding their religious values and commandments. Many women who cover talk about it as a way of demonstrating their submission to God and use it as a constant reminder to hold fast to religious beliefs such as being modest, honest, and generous to those in need. Alright friends, this brings us to the end of today's video on the 10 biggest reasons Muslim women wear hijab. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did, and as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to show us your love, and you can check me out on social media to see what I'm up to when I'm not on camera. We'll catch you right here next time for more facts. See ya!